Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching America's #1 cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast. And with me is...
Jupy Chan, also known as Ninja Jupy, or you can call me Wendy. Hey guys, now we'll turn this over to the man of the hour, the man with the power. The man is too sweet to be sour, Johnny
Johnny
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
All right, guys, this have a random emergency podcast because, oh my God.
Emergency,
As you can see here, yep, AJ Lee is back. Someone that we thought would never return and all this stuff and everything, and she's back in WWE. So upon hearing the news, we had to return to WWE and watch last night's episode of SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna go too much into the episode and stuff, but I mean, I guess it was John Cena's last episode on SmackDown.
Yeah, they've been talking about that like
Because
pretty
he's
much all
doing his
week.
farewell tour. We got Brock Lesnar looking like Akuma from Street Fighter V with all the extra hair and junk that I'm not used to. I know he looked like that for the last couple of years, but I mean, whatever. And it's kind of like, I feel like it's like if you haven't watched WWF for a long time and then you come back to watch it, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan had the mohawk or something. Macho Man is completely well shaven and wearing business suits, and Ultimate Warrior has no more steroids, and the face paint is gone. You know, it's like it just looks weird. It looks
And he said he took Ritalin, so he actually walks like
yeah. So it just feels weird seeing how the people look like now after all the years and whatever. And also found out that Mia Yim is now called Michin for whatever reason. I felt the women's match was kind of whatever. Like, of course, we don't like AEW's like nonstop chops, but I just feel like AEW like the hits are harder, man. That's my opinion. So, anyways, to give context and everything, appears I had to find out because again, you don't watch WWE. There was a recent pay-per-view that was called, I guess, WWE Clash in Paris, and it was a four-way match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso, and it was for the title. Rollins is the current champion, so they're fighting for the title. And what happened is near the end of the match, Becky Lynch got involved and did the low blow on CM Punk. So, Rollins won for cheating. So, and the next, like on SmackDown, CM Punk got in her face, she got in his face, she started slapping around and everything, and you know how it is, can't hit a woman or whatever. And CM Punk was saying, well, I can't hit a woman, but I know someone who will. And it kind of like ended there. And then we got all the rumors, all the speculations, AJB's coming back and whatever. And even she was like denying the rumors, saying she doesn't want to really come back because she doesn't want to outshine the younger talent or whatever. But everyone was talking about it. There were all the reports, all the rumors. And it's like the worst kept secret because right when SmackDown started, before anything happened, the people were already chanting, AJ Lee, AJ Lee.
And then some had like signs in the audience already too for AJ Lee. So
yeah. So we see the segment that Johnny also just watched, where Rollins was talking crap about CM Punk, way up there like a coward, and Becky started talking about Chicago sucks and everything, like the Bears suck, the Bulls suck, hey, we talking about the Bulls, and all that.
And also, I have to say, she's lucky this is the territory day, because the territory day, she would need some security to walk to her car.
Yeah. So, she started getting into CM Punk's face again and slapped him around even more and whatever. And of course, he repeated the whole thing. You always naming all these names, he could call in Bailey, he could call in Rhea Ripley or whatever.
Rhea Ripley, Bailey. I forgot who else he mentioned.
And all that stuff. So in the end, it's like, well, again, you kind of said the whole thing. I can't hit you, but I know someone who will. And then the famous music that's lighted up started playing. AJ Lee came back. Becky Lynch looks like she saw a ghost and everything. And yeah, so AJ Lee knocked her down, did the ground and pound stuff and all that kind of stuff. They ran away like cowards, both Rollins and Becky.
But the thing is funny that when Seth came out into the crowd, he just picked up Becky and threw her over his shoulder to run out.
Yeah. And the thing is, after the thing ended, AJ Lee, skipped around a bit since Becky left. She left her belt behind because she's also the current like Intercontinental Champion or something like that. AJ Lee picked it up and showed it off, and the crowd is, they want her to be champion. See what happens. And she also signed an official contract with Triple H. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how long she stays. And they also got AJ Lee merch, which I bought right away and everything. So we'll see what happens. So basically, well, I do want to say I'm surprised she came back because when she left, it sounded like she was going to retire from wrestling altogether. And even though she bought this wrestling company, Women of Wrestling, WOW.
WOW, yeah.
Yeah. I remember we talked about in the podcast, older episodes, Johnny. She bought it and she was the owner on junk. But the thing is, I was expecting the famous, like how Vince gets in there, get involved, but she never did. She never wrestled. She never got in the ring. Like she was just whatever. So I'm surprised that she actually came back. And the one thing I do want to say that I did like her final run in WWE before she left and everything. But I was always disappointed because the bad thing is AJV was still stuck during the Divas era and Nikki and Brie Bella and all that junk, and the wrestling wasn't to the quality it is nowadays. And the thing is that I felt bad because when AJV left, that's when Charlotte came in, Bailey came in, Sasha, whatever you want to say about her, she was still good back then. And Becky came in, and they were like, and then later on Asuka came in, Ember Moon came in. It was like better, higher quality wrestlers, and I just felt so bad
It's cool because like I said, they're mostly NXT talent too. So Triple H had more control over the NXT talent, and that's where and then they bring them up to the main roster.
Yeah, we got Rhea Ripley, we got Io Shirai that they renamed her Io Sky or whatever. But anyways, they had people with more quality, like better wrestling skills and talent.
Yeah, not a bunch of sunnies.
Yeah, and I felt bad that AJV missed out on that because she never got to wrestle against any of them. So now she's coming back. She can at least wrestle against the man, and we'll see how that goes. So, Johnny, you saw the clip more or less. What was your general opinion?
Well, my opinion, considering that I haven't seen AJ Lee in his originality, like I didn't really watch WWE when that stuff happened. So far from I have seen right now, she looks very impressed, but I can see why she's, WWE's favorite, and it's good that she's back. And also judging from the footage, seeing how much of a annoying heel Becky Lynch is, it's like holy shit, yeah, hell yeah, AJ beat her ass. Beat the living shit out of her.
Wow.
Seriously, like she's so fucking annoying.
What do you think of Seth Rollins in his current gimmick too?
Rollins, I mean, it's kind of hard to judge, but he looks like a coward because he's just like all the way in the back. in the back all the way in the back in the stage, with the his posses, I guess.
But I don't like it. I'm used to AEW because it's a bit more raw with the language. Like you could just tell that because here at CM Punk's like, yeah, your husband's way over there like a coward, and those AEW, your husband's way over there like a little bitch or something like that.
Yeah,
stuff like
they
that.
probably would have. Well, they're thinking of the children.
I don't like about that's the only thing I don't like about WWE. Not to get too much into the politics, but they have their thing going on, and Vince McMahon is controversial. He has all his
but he's gone now. Triple H runs it now. Vince is gone already.
But like the whole company as a whole, like there's just like a lot of
baggage,
a lot of controversy behind them, and it's kind of sometimes hard to kind of get behind that, here and there. But and yeah, that's another thing you did told me that AEW is a little bit more raw, like in their language. So it is very noticeable that it looks like it's a little bit more toned down, language wise. And I'm pretty sure their matches are not going to be as bloody as the ones you get at AEW with Jon Moxley's Bloody Mayhem.
Yeah,
this is always bloody.
Yeah. Now, well, before you get into your, I just want to say one thing that Jack did mention. He was mentioning that he hopes that maybe with the news, the AJV back in wrestling and stuff like that, that hopefully it might entice Paige to come back because it's always a good, AJV versus Paige feud and everything. And I remember the very last match when she made her return, she was helping out Paige because I think Paige was getting ganged up on by the Bellas or whatever. And there was that split moment of hesitation where Paige didn't know, like, are you here to help me or you're gonna, attack me too? Before they hugged it out and everything. And I think that was her last match before she left on whatever pay-per-view of that time of Paige and AJV versus Nikki and Brie Bella. and that was the last match before she left and
She
everything.
officially left.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing I did want to say was that hopefully, no, I'm not sure because Soraya did make, but that's the thing with the wrestling rights. I always never say never, right?
Yeah.
But she made it seem that she's done with wrestling. She's doing all her publicity tours and cons and autograph signs and whatever. But Jack is hoping that with AJ Lee back, maybe Paige would be enticed to come back to WWE, and maybe we could get another like Paige versus AJ Lee thing. But we don't know yet. I mean,
One of the other Bella twin. I mean, Nikki, she's back in WWE. Isn't
yeah. I just don't know if she's still making just. I know she was in the last Evolution or whatever, but I don't know if she's like an actual wrestler all the time, or just making appearances here and there.
Oh, maybe like a part-time legend or something like that.
Yeah, or like or like Danhausen just shows up and stuff, but barely gets in the ring. I'm not sure the capacity.
If Paige does come back, I think that would be like you said, an interesting angle. Unlike what happened in AEW, like I said, they had Mercedes over there, they had Saraya over there. The story writes itself. Anyway, so AJ Lee coming back, I was interested to see it too. I'm sorry, the whole setup with probably Becky low blows, CM Punk, and then Punk said, I don't hit women and all that other stuff. I'm saying, no, go ahead, I don't mind. I'm an equal opportunity person. If you so smack a man, that man has the right to smack you back in a wrestling ring. Because it's all scripted. No, but seriously, I love the little heel thing that those two got going on. So you really do want to hate them. Personally, I haven't been big on Becky since she became the man. Honestly, I mean, I didn't mind it at first, but for me, I think the gimmick overstayed is welcome. But she's in that kind of whatever. And Seth, and same with Seth. When he turned on like Roman and stuff, and that kind of threw me with it. Yeah, and that kind of. Got to him for that. And the fact that he's still kind of a douche even now. And I haven't really watched WWE in so long. So it was just interesting seeing that again. And it still had those same gimmicks, which made me get sick of them years ago. But like I said, it's perfect because they're both being, the whole heel thing is perfect. But the problem I have with AJ Lee's return, okay. Now, as mentioned, Punk was kind of hinting at it, but nowhere was it like positive. Like I said, he could have called in Bailey, he could have called in Rhea Ripley, he called in like any other woman on the roster, that he's like, cool with. He could have even called in Jade. I don't know how that would have worked, but he could have to go
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, just to smack Becky around. My problem is that everybody and their mama knew that AJ Lee was coming back. How could they not have kept that secret better? I mean, it is so easy to not tell people stuff. They could have, you know what? They could have did all the negotiations, do like a Zoom call. It's okay then. And then that would not have gotten out. I want to know who found out about it, who leaked that she was coming back, and it needed to get punched because it kind of ruined the surprise. Like, what if you didn't know she was coming back? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then her music playing, then she show up, and how many more people been out there see like super, super shocked?
Yeah. And then the other thing too is that like it reminds me of those Royal Rumble ones where no one wanted Roman Reigns to win because there was so that time where no one wanted Roman Reigns to win or whatever. Everyone wanted Daniel Bryan to win. And when he got thrown out of the Royal Rumble, everyone got like pissed, or they're making another comment. Oh, well, there goes the rest. I don't care who wins now, because they didn't want him to win.
Yeah.
And I forgot, it was, there was one. I remember it was that one or another one, but it was one where everyone kept their hopes or whatever. And the very last entrance was Rey Mysterio. And everyone booed him, not for him, but because everyone was expecting like Daniel Bryan or something, and he wasn't involved, so that kind of thing. So in this one, earlier in the show, Becky showed up in her car, and everybody was already like cheering and stuff. But the thing, like, I don't think they were cheering for Becky. I think they were cheering more because they already knew that whatever segment she's gonna have is when AJD's gonna make her appearance, and there are already like rumors on the interweb saying that Becky Lynch segment is going to close the show. So everyone was like, yeah, this proves it. This confirms AJ is going to, So I'm thinking that everyone had their hopes so high because of spoilers or whatever that I'm sorry if CM Punk said whatever and fucking like Rhea Ripley or someone came out instead, oh, they would have booed the house down because everyone, like you said, you had people with drawings of HMD in the thing already, you know, like they would have booed and everything, despite how much everyone loves Rhea Ripley. But they would have gotten so pissed if it was Rhea Ripley or Bailey or anyone else.
Here's something else too. I don't for something like this, and they said like Becky was gonna have a segment. I don't think they should have even brought up the fact that she was gonna have a segment or when she was going to have the segment, because that also ruined the surprise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the fact that the set, even with the basic story for this, and I like the way it's being set up. And if I would have been watching, I would have been very engaged. But at the same time, you need to keep that mystery and stuff too. I know kayfabe isn't really much of a thing anymore. In some ways, I really do miss it. But this is something that could have been done where nobody knows AJ is coming back. Well, Punk could have just been talking out his head, talking out his ass, and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna call in my wife. I mean, somebody to come out here and to slap you because I can't." But
You know what they could have done is maybe like a fake phone call or something, like, "Yo, Jade Cargill, I got something for you to do," and then like when the actual thing, I was gonna call in Jade, she couldn't make it, someone else could, and then
yeah, there's something like that.
do a red herring or something.
Yeah, because then they all still would have been booing, and then you see that AJ really comes out. So they just could have did that so much better if they were going to let everybody know she was coming anyway. We just haven't set up where we know when she's coming.
Yeah.
So it builds up that suspense, and so when she comes, you get even more excited and happy to see her. But like I said, it just that was kind of ruined for me because everybody in that moment knew that she was coming. So even though they did, I would say probably good build up to it. I will give them credit for that, just based on what we were knowing how they played it out. So yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to say though is that this is, oh God, I never thought I was gonna ever say this after leaving the company, the thing. But yes, we'll be watching WWE WrestlePalooza because I'm thinking that that's what's going to happen. They're going to build it up over the next couple of weeks or however time they have, and they'll probably have a match of CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, or maybe just Becky versus AJ Lee. But they're going to have some kind of pay-per-view match. So if they do have an AJ Lee pay-per-view match, I'll watch it. And I'm sure because I know that Jack and William and them they do watch WWE.
Yeah, they keep up for us, so they watch the WWE stuff, and we watch the AEW stuff, so they don't have to.
Yeah, so that's why in the podcast I know we're talking about AEW stuff or whatever, but they keep up with WWE. So we'll watch the pay-per-view. Now this month's kind of busy. We can't really promise a podcast about it. Maybe a short thing. I don't know. Things are going to be busy near the end of the month. You'll find out later with upcoming videos. But we'll be watching that. And I guess if AJ sticks around, we'll be watching other pay-per-views, whatever segment she's in. But that just shows how much I always like AJ Lee because, I mean, Priscilla Kelly and Lena Black showed up in AEW, in WWE, and that wasn't enough for me. Like I watched some episodes, but it wasn't enough for me to like start watching it religiously. And even with Stephanie Bacare wants to go to WWE.
Yeah, but they sent her she got sent to NXT, and I kept saying that I wanted to go back to NXT because of her, and I still haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah. So now with this, I mean, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go back to WWE with AJB. And maybe NXT too, because we always find out that we always hear that the NXT takeovers are way better and stuff. And not only that, but that way we kind of get more of the crossover. So, if XYZ, let's say
no promises with Raw, because the main thing that kind of got me out of Raw is when they made it that third hour. It's just been hard to even attempt to go back because after they made it that 3 hours.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see an example. Let's say Drew McIntyre. Now I've seen him before. He's been around before I jumped ship. But let's say we're watching Drew McIntyre wrestle. Now I know him. So if he does make an appearance in AEW later, now we know who he is. So that kind of helps.
Yeah, what were you about to say, Johnny?
About like in streaming service wise, is NXT still on Peacock? Because I have Peacock. Or
yeah, it's going to be on Peacock, and I think all this stuff is going to be on Peacock until the end of the year or something.
Because I might catch NXT if it's still there, but I'm just not sure.
Yeah, because I know that they're also on Netflix now.
Yeah, well, Raw. Okay, Raw is on Netflix. NXT is on Peacock, and CW if you have the regular cable. Let me see. SmackDown is on
ESPN. Oh,
SmackDown is on USA and Peacock.
and Hulu, right?
No, on Peacock. USA and Peacock. Remember, we just have the live thing, so we're watching regular channel.
Oh, okay.
Let me see, and then we have Saturday Night's Main Event. That's on Netflix. Then out there,
Look at the ESPN app that we could use now, ESPN Plus or whatever.
yeah. See, that's the thing. I always had it because it came bundled. So,
Mhm.
so now, like after a certain point, all of the pay-per-views or PLEs or whatever, they're going to be on ESPN. They're being taken off of Peacock and going to ESPN. I think Raw is going to stay on Netflix, and I, it's just confusing. I don't know. So I'm sorry. I'll stick with just the channels here. NXT for CW. NXT has CW on CW and SmackDown on USA.
I mean, we gotta check. Maybe the TVB.com might have it or something. I don't know. But that's the thing. We'll find out. Whenever we watch the thing, we'll let you know and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the thing with us with Ruspalooza. We just watch on ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's right. All those pay-per-view they're going to ESPN. So the
Yeah, 'cause I
Peacock
only
don't have a deal with it or something.
Peacock because I don't have regular cable. I just have Peacock. So I guess
Yeah.
I'm just limited to NXT and what was the other one?
And
SmackDown. I guess.
I guess by the remainder of this year, because next year they're gonna.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Unless you have a streaming service that do live television.
Yeah.
But then again, with Monday Night Raw, I mean, unless you got Netflix, you can't watch that at all, as far as I know.
Yeah. And you remember the Netflix incident, right, Johnny? When Hogan came out with the Netflix, and yeah, we got Netflix, brother. But everyone's like, boo, 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 boo. And I just kind of.
And then everyone just saying, "Oh, poor Jimmy Hart."
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, guys. That's also kind of a little announcement here that we're doing that we are going to get back to WWE for better or for worse. And we'll talk about the pay-per-views that have AJ Lee in them. And maybe the NXT too, because that's cool. It's always cool to,
Yes,
get
NXT.
new up and comers.
Yeah, no, and to be honest with you, NXT is the only WWE property I had the most interest in because of Stephanie.
Mhm.
And I just never got around to going to it. And I think it's because of when it comes on, because it comes on during Dynamite, I think, at the time. I think like at the same time, but I think the time, no, TNA and Impact come on Thursdays, just like Ring of Honor. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, we'll figure it out. It's like,
It's just too much wrestling.
So
I mean,
many
we keep it
things.
simple because we mostly watch AEW, and even like Collision is kind of like an option pan if we feel like it or not. We've always watched Dynamite though, but Collision is kind of like if we feel like but like man, if you're watching WWE and Impact and Jack's
like,
Case like New Japan Pro Wrestling or whatever.
Yeah, like my friend, he actually watches WWE and AEW. So
It's a busy week.
yeah, so he watches all the shows, and he said he does it mostly just to compare it because he said he actually got me interested in AEW when it first started, and then he left it. I didn't realize that he got back into it. And he just watching it to compare to WWE, but he never stopped with WWE for the most part.
And the biggest thing with me was I got into AEW because I was a fan. Because after I quit WWE, I started watching like indie shows and other things. But then I started watching Ring of Honor, and at that point in time, Cody, the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny Omega. I don't think he appeared that much, but I know the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Cody were in charge of Ring of Honor and everything. And Cody was acting more like a serious big time businessman with his wife there and the business bear and all that. And he was acting more like a serious persona, very similar to his AEW self, no longer being Stardust and all that. And that's what kind of got me into it, because when I heard the rumors that Cody was going to actually buy his own, wrestling company and all that stuff, I'm like, whoa, I was curious about it. And I got into AEW because Yeah, I already knew Cody. I knew the Young Bucks. I knew Hangman Page. I heard about Kenny Omega, so he's coming over. So it's kind of cool to see Kenny Omega. SCU was also Ring of Honor, so they also came over. And then also I saw like Britt Baker wrestling in the smaller shows. So now seeing that Britt Baker's going to be here too, like whoa, she's going to be wrestling a lot. So I kind of knew a lot of these people. Oh, and also Pac was going to be there, and of course Chris Jericho's going to be there. So I knew the people, and that's what kind of got me curious about AEW, and all that. But I don't know if I would have cared that much if it was like completely unknown people. I was basically following Cody's story,
Mm.
so that
But you
was
know,
dramatic. Hmm?
oh,
Oh yeah,
I was just thinking that's kind of interesting, 'cause just like how you got into AEW because of all the wrestlers, I feel like the same thing could be said for WWE, because I personally don't feel too interested in WWE. But I still like CM Punk. It's cool to see AJ Lee, just to see what's the hype, why people liked her so much. It's cool to see Stephanie Valquer and Jay Cargill in WWE, and then what's the name of the other guy? Ethan Page, right?
yeah. I think he's also there.
And I think I did saw a
How
match.
about that? He did okay. He's back in there.
Oh, Aleister Black is back in town. He was wrestling in this episode too,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
everything.
I mean, catch
Also,
YouTube, but I
oh,
don't know.
I was gonna say something else about AJ Lee when you were talking about her being part of the, because of the diva thing going on.
Mhm.
Now, during that time, I was annoyed with WWE with the women's stuff because of people like the Bella Twins, and I wanted to see more wrestlers like for example, Lita and
Like Beth Phoenix or what's the other one? Oh, I can't think of her name. Is it Beth
Mickey
Phoenix?
James.
Mickey James.
Yeah, Mickey James, she's from, you might run into her here.
Mm.
So yeah, we had Mickey James, like people like Mickey James and Lita. I used to really, really like those two back then. But of course, their style compared to what the WWE was doing at that time. Hey, you got a bra and panties match. Let's make the women just there. Let me try to turn them into sunnies, even though they have the actual, like Gail Kim. I mean, they had actual wrestling abilities, and they were held back. Then, like you mentioned, AJ Lee was around, and now that I'm thinking about it, I was annoyed with everything dealing with the women. But thinking about back on it, AJ Lee had actual matches. She could actually wrestle.
Yeah.
So she was a little different from like your Bella Twin type who I could never stand. So yeah.
Or what's her face? Eva Marie. That was just there just to be there,
Uh-huh. Oh God, I remember her.
The one thing I remember, that was the WWE pay-per-view that was called Fastlane. And she just appeared there to do like the wave the racing flags for the little graphic of it. And I'm like, wow, okay, they're still using her. And that's like the most we saw of her, just that. And that's it. She didn't have a
She
match with
still
it.
works here.
Yep. And then yeah, all that. Oh, Johnny, I want you to remember, I know your memory's not that good, but do you remember when we were watching the WWE pay-per-view, I guess it was WrestleMania of that particular year in Sweet Pete's house. So shout out to Sweet Pete and Pika Chica and whoever else was there. And the beginning match was supposed to be Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. But at that particular time, I don't know if it's real life or just, whatever. But AJ Lee was with Daniel Bryan at that time. So what happened is that when the match started, AJ Lee gave a kiss that for good luck. But unfortunately, the moment that Daniel Bryan turned around, Sheamus kicked him and knocked him out. And then, 1, 2, 3, and he lost the title.
Oh my
If you remember, I
gosh.
know Peter was just so mad, and he just complaining about it over and over and over throughout it's like we're watching the third or fourth match, and he was still complaining about it, and even Ryan was like, okay, he lost, shut the fuck up already, whatever, let go, and it's like, dude, but
I think I
WrestleMania,
remember
it's
a
a
little
title
bit of that.
match. Did you
But the
remember
only thing I remember is that the WWE, their pre-show, I don't know what they called it, but their pre-show is so long.
that? Yeah, I know, but do you remember that match though, Johnny? Because that is where you would have seen AJ Lee there.
Hmm.
Do you remember the match though?
No, but I just remember the previews were super long.
Oh my gosh! Well, I
Now,
remember.
now that particular one, the whole thing was because it was like the big deal of Cena versus The Rock. That was the main event, and it's so dumb because it's like once in a lifetime, and then the next WrestleMania after that, they had another Cena versus Rock.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed me. But I do remember that match. I do remember that match because what you said, Sweet Pea was upset about it.
Yeah.
Man, I was really mad about it because it was like I was like, no, no, no. It's like I was so frustrated with that match. When I saw that, I was like, what kind of crap is this? Who decided on this? Why did he lose in like 2 seconds? I mean,
The only thing I could think of was because it happened to be on April 1st. So I was thinking it could be an April Fool's, like an April Fool's little gag or something like that. But
but the thing that's funny about that whole thing, I totally forgot about the AJ Lee thing. I just remember Sheamus pinning Daniel Bryan and me being mad about it. I totally forgot about her.
now the thing is, of course, I don't know because that's years ago. Because that was before we moved and I got back into wrestling like more religiously and everything. But I just don't know the real world stuff. I don't know if at that point in time Daniel Bryan was with Brie Bella or not, or if AJ Lee was with Punk or not. That's another thing too, Johnny. Keep in mind that in at least for those two, I don't know if they were. Well, I guess they were involved because CM Punk, the whole thing, CM Punk basically got fired because he took time off to marry AJ Lee, and Vince is like, well, that's not good shit, so he got fired or whatever.
That's why Vince like I'm going to cheat on.
Yeah.
You know me, what?
Yeah. And all that stuff. And apparently, and AJ Lee was also kind of, people were saying that she had like a big losing streak, kind of also like punishment, which she eventually also let go or whatever. But the thing is, in the actual show, CM Punk and AJ Lee never acted together. They were like separate. You know what I mean? Like they never did the thing. So the event that you saw was the first time, and I guess it's kind of because everyone knows by now also, it's the first time that CM Punk and AJ Lee actually act like a couple, like in the wrestling, Because you remember, I think in the last couple of years they did, but for the most part, John Cena and Nikki Bella never had any storylines that shows that they're like together, and Brie and Daniel Bryan never showed any. I think during the last year there was a thing where Daniel Bryan was, seriously injured or whatever the hell. So Brie Bella was there as they carted him away. So that was like the first time they ever showed that she's like, with him and whatever. But usually they don't do that with them. With those, it's kind of like Undertaker and Michelle McCool. They're married and stuff, but they never show any.
No, it was never on screen.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. But yeah. So this is the first time that you get to see like AJ Lee with CM Punk together, and they're hugging each other, and she's like she jumped in his arms and all that, and people were saying that CM Punk was just staring with such like admiration and just so proud of her with the people like standing ovation that she got. But it's true, like what Wendy said. If it was 100% a secret and no one knew none, they would have blown the fucking roof. As much as she got it now, it would have been like 10 times more.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the dude with what was it, WrestleMania? Which one was it with Brock Lesnar kind of beat Undertaker? And I still remember being in my apartment screaming looking at my computer screen, just screaming. What the? And I had to cut myself off there. But anyway, no, that dude, the whole audience would probably been looking like him.
The thing I like is that there's like this random black dude with glasses that was like, when that happened, when Lesnar defeated Undertaker, and every time they show it or bring it up, you see that same black dude in the crowd, and it's just so funny because can you imagine? We're watching AEW or something, and there's I don't know, Moxie blood or whatever, and we're all like. And then, like every time they're like from now on in the future, 10 years from now, every time they show the clip of the infamous moment that I don't know what's his face, Moxley used a jackhammer on Kenny Omega's knee or something. They're always gonna show the footage of you, me, and Wendy Hall.
No.
Like
a real jackhammer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh. Yeah, Johnny.
It's like top 10 moments. Here's that one time the jackhammer. And it's us, and we can say that's us, like.
That's what he's meant to say, Johnny.
Oh no, that was kind of crazy. They did that all the time. It just shows like every time there's blood scene.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for here, guys. I think that's pretty much it. We did leave our links open for our buddies just in case, but just so happens this is kind of a short notice thing and everything because that's the thing I wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, let's see, but of course, AJD was there. But yeah, Jack's working, Ninja Panda's working, and anyone else was not available, but yeah, but that's the thing. So we'll be covering WWE pay-per-views now, mostly the ones that AJV is in, because I know she won't be in all. I don't know if it's like if they're still doing like the brand split, so it might be that the storyline with AJ Lee, Becky, CM Punk, and Rollins is going to be maybe just on the SmackDown episodes and not SmackDown and Raw. So it might be only the SmackDown related pay-per-views that may have this storyline unfolding. But yeah, we'll watch those and we'll give our reviews and maybe we can watch some of the NXT takeovers because usually they're better than the WWE ones. We'll see. No promises.
Well, I guess with the experience for the past, but maybe still pretty good now, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, no promises, but yeah, and also keep in mind, it is called the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast. It was never really called like the Diving Cutter AEW Podcast or anything like that. So we were always open to other pay-per-views. We just never had the time or
Yeah, there's just too much. I mean, it's not like how it was back in the 90s where, well, we didn't have that much access to begin with. It was like WCW, WWF. There you go. Those are your choices. Before it was like all the TN and all the territory thing, they were no, but then again, we had the territory stuff.
Wasn't televised.
It was televised, but it was more like that area, that region. It was more regional. So we weren't seeing like whatever the like Mid-South was doing, because we were Mid-Atlantic. So we weren't seeing what Mid-South we were doing. We weren't seeing most of what the Northeast Canada we were. But or NW, all that stuff, the NWA and all that stuff. So yeah, it's not like I can't even say the 80s until they really did condense everything. In the 90s, pretty much everything was condensed, just pretty much just WCW, WWF, then ECW popped in. You got your TNA and your Impact and your Ring of Honor a little bit later. So yeah, we didn't have as many options, I would say.
Yeah. So anyways, any final thoughts, Johnny? And also potentially coming back to WWE and all that?
It's interesting because I haven't really seen WWE in a hot minute, so it would be interesting to see the modern version of WWE with all the addition, with the Jade Cargill, with AJ Lee, with CM Punk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, and also WWE without Vince.
But it's he's been gone for a hot minute as well.
Been like a year or so. I mean, he's gone. He's not coming back. I mean,
It's
he's
like
gone.
2 or 3 years, I would say now, right? Give or take a couple of years.
No, were we still making those not good shit jokes like just last year still? Or?
Oh, but all that stuff came out early last year, so it has been. No, but the thing is, even prior to that, he wasn't fully there. Well, let's say maybe about a year or so.
That's it.
A little, almost yeah.
So there you go. Watching a WWE without Vince.
Yeah, because like I said, around about the 2018, 2019, 2020 area situation, that's when I kind of was like, I'm not really into this. Oh, let's see what this AEW thing is
So
about,
now instead of the Tony Khan booking, now it's time for the Nick Khan booking.
I've seen a little bit of NXT just that time that Ethan Page came back. I think I did saw a match and it looked pretty good. But other than that, I haven't really catch up to NXT, WWE.
That's one thing we got to ask with Jack, because the bad thing about NXT, well, not NXT itself, is just that everyone is super badass at NXT, but then it gets fucked up when
they get to the main roster.
WWE.
Yeah, I wonder if that's still like the case, if they're still doing that now that Triple H is, dealing with all the main roster stuff now. And I think it was Shawn Michaels with the NXT groups, right?
Or I think Shawn Michaels is involved, like backstage and all.
Yeah, so I just wonder how that works out now, because that was my main issue with NXT talent going up to the main roster, would also turn me off from it. They screwed up Ember Moon, man. I really, really liked her as Ember Moon. I liked the persona, I liked everything. They just got all watered down when she got to the main roster. And that's what I like about her at AEW. And I wish they put her on the main roster for AEW. I want them to create a nice women's division. Please. We want an actual women's division in AEW. Tony, please. Look at what your father spoke. Anyway, look what they're doing in WWE. You're trying to copy them anyway. Let's go.
Okay. And okay, so one last thing I do want to say, with SmackDown, one thing that was annoying was that I don't know on regular TV, but it's like they're putting commercials every 5 minutes or 6 minutes or so.
Feels like
And I guess I got spoiled because AEW likes to do the thing where maybe the first match of the night, it's like the whole match without commercials. So here it kind of sucks. Like every 5 minutes it's a fucking commercial. And they don't even say we'll be back in picture, so you can't tell. It's just abrupt, you know? And then, but one good thing I do like about it is that when the show comes back with a commercial, now in the little corner, it does show like a little picture of who's wrestling. So it was like John Cena versus, forgot who's versus
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. So it was
Yeah,
a commercial,
for his
and when
title.
it came back, it would have a little thing in the corner that says John Cena versus Sami Zayn for the title. So that way, if you're just coming in or whatever, people on the floor, they're face down, like who's that? At least that tells you who's wrestling. So that is something cool that they added now. I'm assuming Raw will do the same thing. I don't know why SmackDown would have it and not Raw.
Yeah.
But it is very helpful if you're just coming in to know who's wrestling when the show comes back from commercial.
Yeah, and also too, even when any wrestler just shows up on screen, they put who they are. So I think that's a good addition too. I mean, of course, they didn't have that when we were actually still watching it. So I think that's a good addition to it. I'm curious, like, how long have they been doing that? Because that's awesome. And it's also good because let's say someone is flipping through the channel saying, hey, I've heard about this WWE. Let me see what it's all about. And let's say you have two people talking, at least they have their names there. So you can say, oh, so that's Alexa Bliss. That's Charlotte Flair. That's John Cena. Okay, these are terrible examples. But you know what I mean? For someone that knows nothing about it, they can come into it and just look and say, oh, so that's that person. That's that person. You know what? That person seems interesting. I want to keep watching because I saw that what's this Randy Orton person about? What's this Wyatt Six? We're just curious about all of that, So I think that's a very good addition, and I wish AEW would do that because I hate to say it, but sometimes I forget most of the people on his roster.
Yeah.
Because let's say they were there, they've been gone for like 5 years, but apparently they still were on the roster.
Or you have people that are very used, like Anthony Ogogo and Nick Camarado and all that. Like,
and then they might show up again. I'm like,
Action Unready and all that.
it's like, wait, who's he again?
See,
I think I remember his face.
I think Ring of Honor is probably the closest that it comes to that because they do show the segment this match versus this wrestler, and then they show the match right away, so you kind of know who it is.
No,
so
but
I think Ring of Honor does do a little bit better job in that respect. But yeah, I do agree that AEW, I don't think they'll really do that. So sometimes you're like.
The problem is also they have too many 4-on-4 and 5-on-5 matches, and most of the people are people that the fuck are these guys and that kind of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I still get lost sometimes. Who the hell is what's his name? The two guys that look similar. The one.
Oh, that's
Like the FTR.
The Young Bucks?
No, not them. The Christian Cage.
Oh, and Adam Copeland.
Yeah, sometimes they just look so alike. Like they need to put.
They're all old now.
Yeah, they need to put their names on the screens to know who I'm watching sometimes.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, no one came in. We were doing a thing where, because it's cool when sometimes surprise people just pop into the podcast mid-show. I like that.
Unexpected, like AJ Lee should have gone.
Yep. And all that, but yeah, we're gonna be watching WWE. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we don't want to do too many podcasts. So if there's too many overlap between AEW and WWE, we'll pick and choose or whatever and stuff like that. Or any big drama happens, we'll do a thing here and there. But yeah, that's basically pretty much our episode here. I already bought my AJ Lee shirt. The same day they announced it, Like the show just ended, and they already have like the
You're
merch.
already looking at the merch store.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep. Oh, and one cool thing is I also bought, and it was funny because I was still editing the previous podcast, the last episode with Forbidden Door, and I did mention somewhere, I forgot what part of what scene, but I did mention somewhere that I do want a red and black NWO Wolfpack shirt, and I bought myself one. So I'll be taking. Oh, I could just take that to our upcoming adventure there.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool. So, anyways, guys, Mark Rodriguez here, signing off for a wrestling cut. My God, it's long. It's a long night, guys. The Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, where if you have problems sleeping or whatever, this show will just knock you right out. Especially if we got Jack and William and Ricky Rocks on it.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Okay. All right. See you guys. This is Ninja Juvie. Or you can call me Juvie Chan, or you can call me Wendy. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this little conversation here about our reaction to AJ Lee and our going back to WWE after so long. And I'll turn this over to the one, the only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that is too sweet to be sour, Johnny
Johnny
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yep. See you next time, guys.
Hmm?
That's
Next time.